You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show.
Twirl. I know everybody's like, why this song? Because Sara twirled so fabulously today. We are back once again. Extreme Weight Loss AfterBuzz TV show, and we are here with our episode for Sara. I'm your host, Morgan Martin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Powell. Please bear with my voice. It's been a long week.
Oh, it's okay.
Yes.
But we have Sara. She, like every week, I think I fall in love with everybody.
Yes,
every single time.
My anxiety was out the roof again. I think it was up to here this time. It was a slim anxiety this time.
Yeah.
My heart was. I love Sara. She was amazing. I really enjoyed her episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she just, I mean, she's a down south girl from Kentucky, and she just had such a home spirit about her. Her smile. I mean, just from the very beginning, she just completely lit up the show, and so we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, she was awesome. I enjoyed her laugh. Like her laugh, every time she laughed, you just wanted to laugh. She made you smile. She was really sweet. I loved her.
Yeah, and so let's just dive right in. I mean, of course, with all of our shows, they always start off with some reason of why they got to the way that they did. And so for her, she had a height limitation. She's, height challenge, I guess you could say. And she found that out in 8th grade. So, she started off just along with everybody else. And then 8th grade was pretty much told that for the rest of her life, she would be different from everyone. And that is when everything kind of went downhill.
Yeah, and not even to mention, that's already a huge struggle already, being different from everybody else. And like Chris said, kids can be so mean these days, and to be able to go back home and have those same problems confronted to you when you go home, that not being a safe place for you, I can only imagine for her. So not only is she at school troubling or having people pick on her, but she goes home where you're supposed to be safe and is continuing being picked on. So my heart really felt for her, and just I couldn't believe her sister and the responses, or her sister's feelings towards her. Right. So I really felt for Sara.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing, when it comes from school and people on the outside, but to have to come home to that every single day. And I mean, her sister wasn't just like, a little mean. I mean, she was rude, basically telling her that she wouldn't amount to anything in life. Yeah. And the only thing, anytime she would get something, was only because people felt sorry for her.
I just am curious where that hatred or anger came from. I mean, this is your sister. It was probably a very touchy subject. They didn't really dive right into it. It's just kind of like her sister, treated her that way. But I'm really curious to why, or what is the root of the problem. But just really mean. And I commend Sara for being as strong as she is to have to deal with all of that.
Yeah. So. And then not only that, so, she spent all this time trying to, always feeling different and trying to find some way to escape. And even before food even kind of hit, she actually put herself into a convent, trying to, wanting to be a nun. And even there, a place where she thought she would be so safe, they still were attacking her, making her feel bad about herself. And then that's when she really went to food, and it completely went downhill from there.
I want to figure out where that's at and go confront those nuns. excuse me, how dare you be mean to Sara? How dare you?
Yeah. But, but of course, in the midst of all of this, our good old buddy Chris Powell always comes to the rescue. And I think what's so hard for Sara is she actually works for an organization where she talks about, healthy eating and what to eat and what not to eat. And she talks about how she felt like such a hypocrite because here she is, being an advocate for healthy living and a healthy lifestyle, but yet was so far from it herself.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, wow, not only are you doing it yourself, promoting this healthy lifestyle, but you're on national television. People are watching you. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting that that's her lifestyle. Every day she's on TV telling people to live a healthier lifestyle, and she's not living that. And she did. She felt like a hypocrite. And I was so shocked that Chris chose to come and tell her that she was chosen for the program on TV. I was like, oh man, is he going to make her take off her shirt?
Were you really surprised? I mean, Chris pops up in the most crazy, the craziest ways ever.
But in my mind, I was like, don't make her take off her shirt in front of the whole world like that. I mean, everyone's going to see anyways when the show airs, but in that moment, I'd been like, no, don't make me do it.
I mean, but it's bad. I mean, she still had to weigh in front of everybody and even confront the audience that she admitted that she felt a little intimidated by because she knows that she's preaching and talking about something that she's not really living out, but she did. And the weigh-in, she came in at 245 pounds.
And she's 4'5". 4'5".
Yeah.
That's really a lot of weight for that height.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, she weighed in, and she immediately just broke down to tears, and she was like, I'm tired of my life. Chris was like, what do you want to change throughout this process? And she was just like, I'm just tired of my life, and I don't deserve this. And that was her main thing throughout the whole episode. She really didn't feel like she deserved to even have Nick. Chris. Nick was the guy that came on as a guest host here, if you guys remember. But Chris, the other personal trainer, she didn't feel like she deserved the opportunity. And Chris looked at her, and I just saw his eyes when he stared at her, and he was like, no, you deserve it. And I was like, whoa. Yep. He told her straight up, and that was the thing that she had to battle throughout the whole episode, learning her worth and that she does deserve these things.
How much of that do you think is attributed to her relationship with her sister?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, growing up and you having somebody very close to you telling you that you're not going to amount to anything. Like she said, she's like, if I take those thoughts and think about them, they're going to turn into my reality. Yeah. And that's what happened with her. And I think it played a really big role in just her not thinking that she was going to change or amount to anything.
Yeah, it's true. So. But they don't waste time on this show. It's like, all right, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to dive in, shipping her off, and then we jump into fight or flight. And anytime I see the stairs on this episode,
dun, dun, dun.
Literally, I'm just like, I don't know how you all do it, because those stairs alone are massive. Mm-hmm. And then on the top of the fact that, like, the stairs were half her height.
Yeah. I think the one thing that we said when we were watching, we were just like, how is she going to get up those stairs? Is Chris crazy? And then to give her weight, it's already going to be a challenge to go up the stairs. But Chris, good old Chris, wants to add on weights. But what I love about the fight or flight challenges is that Nick why do I keep saying Nick? I'm so sorry. I'm thinking about my fiance, guys. Nick is anyway, Chris. I keep comparing the two of them.
Trainers.
But the thing I love about Chris is that he really challenges the people that he trains, and he pushes them. And I love the fight or flight challenges, because this is where he breaks the old habits and really confronts them with whatever they're challenging, and is like, all right, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing that I liked about her, like Chris said, is that she didn't use her height to say, oh, this is hard, or, as an excuse. She was like, okay, let's go with 80 pounds and all. And she reached to the top. And I thought that was really awesome that she was like, she didn't complain about it.
I thought it was really interesting, where most people during the fight or flight exercise, they typically kind of have their breaking point in the middle, where I think for her breaking point was more towards the end, when she saw the people, they were cheering her on, really encouraging her. Yeah. And I think for her, she had that breakdown, because in her mind, she's like, I'm not deserving of people pushing me, encouraging me. I'm not even deserving of this moment. So it was almost like it was harder for her to climb those last few steps than it was in the middle, which I thought was really interesting.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Because when she did get to the top, I'm sure she's never had that encouragement ever.
Right.
So she was taken back when she got to the top of the stairs and people were cheering her on. That's a really good point. I like that.
And I mean, she was a fighter throughout the whole thing. I mean, we've seen a lot of complainers and fallouts and quitters. You know who you are. Ty. He's going to come back.
He's going to come back. We still have faith for you, Ty.
But she was, I mean, she throughout the whole thing was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do, because she knew she was going to have to work so much harder than everybody else because of her height, and then even her resting metabolic rate was so low compared to everybody else, where they could eat well and exercise, and the combination of the two would help. And she didn't have that at all.
Yeah, talk about challenge. Not only is it hard for anybody to lose all this weight, but now she has another challenge. It's like she has to watch every single calorie she eats. She can't have those cheat days. Like Brandy, where she was like, oh, it's cheat day, whole bag of Cheetos, sodas. Like, she went all out. But Sara doesn't have that luxury.
Right.
Sara has every calorie counts for her. And that's difficult. You can no dessert on Saturday. Like, you have to have your salad and your chicken calorie by calorie. So, wow.
Yeah.
That she stuck to that, and she hit most of her goals.
She did. At the end of phase 1, her goal was to lose 80 pounds, and she actually ended up losing 81 pounds. So she went from her original 245 down to 165. She actually hit like a milestone. She was the greatest percentage of weight loss in the entire extreme weight loss ever in history, 33.1%.
And she looked amazing. I think that did so much for her, and just building her confidence, like that she's deserving and that she can do it. And, you know, she probably has like these voices of her sister in her head, like, you're not going to amount to anything, but she just proved to everybody that she can do it. And not even that, set records.
She did.
So
she was amazing.
And she looked good at that first weigh-in. It was like tremendous difference already. She looked awesome.
Yeah, we have so much more to dig into, but before, I have to make sure we give a big shout out. We have some great followers and fans.
Yes, we do.
We've got Bob Miller, the Tractor Bandit 01.
Bob, we appreciate your comments about our show. Thank you so much for watching us.
And so many of you. So please continue to listen to us on iTunes, rate, comment, give us stars. Let us know what you think. If you have questions, we want to hear from you. It helps us. It helps you keep everything going. So make sure you keep those comments coming.
Yeah, and if you are watching this on YouTube, let us know what you guys thought about the episode. Comment below, like the video, and let's talk. What did you think about Sara? And R&B
fan.
Yes. Missed Morgan when she wasn't here. When Nick, the person I keep talking about, came and visited on our show, he filled in for Morgan. And R&B was like, hey, let's get Morgan back. We miss her. And I'm glad she's back because we have this great chemistry together.
So we love our fans. So thank you guys for continuing to watch in. But jumping back into Sara, I mean, going into phase 2, this is why we played the twirl song, because when she went home to her family, she walked through that backyard and she hit a twirl like nobody's business.
Can we play it again? Okay, maybe he'll jump it in there. I just want to twirl again and be back in that memory, in that moment, right?
She came in and she was beaming and she hit that twirl.
Yeah, it was awesome. And she does this little thing too, where she does this little foot kick. I don't know if you guys noticed when you watch the episode, but she does the little foot kick every time she does a hug. She pops her toe. Cute. It's awesome. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, fabulous. Yep, exactly. Twirl. That's for Sara.
Twirl.
Wherever you are, you need to twirl for Sara.
This is the theme song for Sara's episode. I love it.
Absolutely. And I mean, going into phase 2, I mean, you could see all of her family there, but of course, I was really disappointed that her sister wasn't there to support.
Yeah. You know, through these things, normally, you know, whatever tension there was between like family members or friends.
Yeah.
These transformations normally they bring people together, and we've seen that in so many other episodes. Like, you know, when Sharita wanted to confront her parents about, you know, things that her abortion that she had, and her parents received it, and it was a moment where they broke through and grew closer. So I was hoping in this episode that maybe her sister was like, man, like, you know, I'm sorry for everything I've said, and there'd be a breakthrough. But I think the fact that her sister didn't come back really just showed her perseverance and just keep going.
Yeah.
And I was proud of her for that. You know what I mean? That she just kept fighting through the whole thing.
In hindsight, though, I'm actually kind of glad her sister wasn't there, because it sounds like even if she was present, she wasn't going to be positive. She was only going to say things to bring her down. So that could have actually derailed Sara if she had been put into that mindset again. So it probably was good riddance. Keep her away.
I was actually surprised because normally when things happen in these people's life, like when it's negative, like when we saw in the other episode with Brandy, she had a breakup with her girlfriend, and that was a result of her eating and not working out, and the weight gain comes. They lose track and they kind of go off course and they start gaining weight and don't make their goal.
Right.
But that wasn't the case for Sara at all. Like, she went through that. She got those messages, and it could have broke her down, and she could have, been depressed or, not really felt like working out, which we've seen in other people's lives. But she kept going, and she didn't really let that affect her. She worked harder.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really awesome in Sara's character when it came to working out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, she had a goal in mind that she wanted to run. It started off as a half marathon. We're like, oh, okay. And then she's like, I don't want to do a half marathon. I want to do the full thing. And Chris
was like, you're ridiculous. I was like, Chris, what happened to you? Why are you being so mean right now?
Yeah.
Like, he was like, no. I was kind of
And Chris rarely says no, especially when somebody's willing and wanting to challenge themselves. But then on the other end of it, I could completely understand where he was coming from. It wasn't a no because I don't think you can do it, but more of a concern of like her health, you know?
Yeah. I thought it was really cool, though. So she does the marathon, and she's running, and she's doing good, and you see the 12 miles, the 13 miles, the 14 miles, and you're like, wow, like, she's not stopping, and you see all these other people walking. You're like, okay, go ahead, Sara. And then, you get to the 18th, the 19th, and that's when she started feeling it a little bit more. And Chris was like, you can stop. This is America. You can stop. And she's like,
shut up.
Chris, will you please stop telling me that I can go ahead and quit this? I'm not quitting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool that she kind of put Chris in his place. He's like, hey, you can kind of, we can leave now. And she's like, would you stop? I'm not quitting. And I was like, you tell him.
But I mean, it just even shows her heart. I mean, she was like literally jogging and running the whole way. I mean, her 3 or 4 of her steps is one stride for a normal person. So you're watching these people literally like cruising, taking one step by step, and she is just going.
Like doing double the work.
Yeah.
And even Chris, like, I love Chris because he was really walking. He was walking, but he was doing
with the runner.
Trying to make it seem like he was running, which was really cool. I'm sure it was really encouraging to Sara, but he was walking and he was doing this little strut to run alongside with her. But she was doing double the work of everybody else.
Yeah. And what I love about Chris is he always knows how to push buttons, but he also knows how to be encouraging too. And I think even hearing her in those last few steps just saying, she was like, I couldn't see, I don't even know how I'm gonna finish, and he was just like, you know what, close your eyes, grab my hand, I'll guide you, and then open up and just take in this experience. And that's exactly what she did. And she's in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Let's
not forget that.
Yes. And when she got to like the 18 or 19 miles, that's when she really started feeling it on her body, and she was like, okay, her body really she couldn't push it anymore. So Chris sat her down, he stretched her, and she didn't quit then either. She went back and she totally finished the whole entire marathon. I honestly didn't think she was going to finish it. What did you think? Did you think she was going to?
I honestly thought she had the heart to want to finish it. I did think that her body was going to just not be able to make it. But she proved me wrong.
Yeah, it was.
You're way better than me, honey, because I could not last 5 miles.
That's 1 mile for me.
There you go.
I probably couldn't even run 1 mile.
So my hat goes off to her because she ran 26.2 miles.
That's nuts.
Absolutely insane.
But even Chris said it's not 26 miles. He said that's double for somebody her height.
Oh, that's true.
That it's 2 marathons that she was actually running in comparison to everybody else. So she ran like 2 marathons, according to Chris.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then again, so she has this high moment. She's running her marathon. She's killing it in her workouts, like box jumping higher than herself, and just amazing. And then here comes her sister all over again. Yeah. And I'll be honest, like the way they started off, they made it seem she seemed a little like optimistic, like, if my family reached out to my sister, but she hadn't spoken to her sister in over a year. And finally, when I heard that, her sister had reached out, I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, until you hear the things that she had to say.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was in disbelief. I was like, I don't, like Chris said, somebody it's abusive what her sister was saying to her. And I just, my heart hurt so bad for Sara. I just didn't understand why somebody could be so hateful. That's the word that I can use. But Sara had such a positive attitude. She wasn't going to let it break her.
Yeah.
But my heart really went out to Sara when I heard her read those text messages and what it really said. I was like, man, like, from your sister. If my sister, I wouldn't even know how to react if my sister talked to me that way.
Yeah.
It really broke my heart for her.
It did. But again, she, like so many people that we see on these shows, they find that way to tap into taking that negative and turning it into positive fuel to even push them even further. And she was like, okay, sure, say whatever you want to say about me, but I'm going to lose this weight. I'm still going to look fabulous. You know, and I'm going to twirl doing it.
And I'm going to twirl. You know, it's a little off subject, but every time I watch the shows now, I always think about Sharita and what she says and what's going on behind.
Shariri.
We love you, Sharita. But I always think about what's going on behind the scenes. I can't help it now when I watch it. I'm just like, I wonder like what they were thinking about with Sara. She must have been so motivating to all the other women just because she had such a great attitude with everything. So I was just wondering, like, I wonder what it was like in the hotel with everybody and Sara. I don't know.
I completely agree. Something tells me she was like she was the motivator.
Yeah.
For everyone.
I think so. Definitely.
I mean, she was looking so fabulous. I mean, even going into phase 3, I mean, you could slowly but surely see her transformation. Not only obviously was she shrinking, but her glow, her style, her everything was just up. Yeah. When she came in with her jeggings, Sara, the jeggings, I was loving them.
Her legs are super muscular. She looked like a little gymnast.
I love it.
Yeah.
She looked amazing before the end.
Yes, in your jeggings.
In your jeggings.
That's too funny.
And so her goal in phase 3 was to hit 122 pounds, and she exceeded that. She got down to 120, losing 18 more pounds, which in phase 3 is a lot. I mean, I think what was so different for Sara compared to everybody else that we've seen is that because she does have the height difference, so because of that, every single pound is so much harder to lose than it is for everybody else. And she knew that. Like, she had to work out double what the average person would just to hit her goals.
Yeah, I was totally blown away by her transformation. I honestly, I had faith that she was going to lose the weight and that she was going to have this transformation, but not the way she did. I was like, oh, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. It's going to be harder for her to lose the weight. She's not going to lose that much weight, and she's probably going to miss a lot of her goals. That was my mentality watching it, just because she's short.
Yep.
When you're shorter, you just gain weight faster, and she has to work out harder. You're like,
I'm only 5 feet tall, so I understand.
She understands you, Sara. But I was blown away just because I had a little bit of doubt of how fast her transformation was going to be or how successful. And she like blew people out of the park that
she did.
You know, I was blown away by it. I was really impressed that even with all of her challenges and what seems to be things that might have held her back, she like blew it out the water.
Yeah, she absolutely did. And of course, because of that and all her hard work, she was able to be qualified to get the skin removal.
I think we're both about to say the same thing. We're both breathing hard because I was so excited. I'm sure you were too.
Yes.
This episode that they actually went in and they showed
what it really looks like.
What it really looks like. We were talking about this a couple episodes ago. I'm like, man, I really wish that they would show more in depth about the skin removal, because for people that lose all that weight, that's something huge, a huge part of their transformation.
Yeah.
I was like, finally.
Yeah, because you see it. I mean, you literally saw that. What still looks like she had excess weight really wasn't weight at all. It was just like skin. And so without having that, she could keep losing weight, but that skin would always be there. And it looks heavy, you know? So that's, weighing. And she even talked about, like, I couldn't, like, I could run, but I couldn't run the way that I really wanted to because she had, like, extraness just, rubbing up against her.
And I appreciate her vulnerability because you don't see a lot of people, we haven't seen in the past episodes, even showing their excess skin.
Yeah.
And she showed her stomach and everything like that. Not in a lot of episodes have we seen that.
Right.
And just to be able to show everybody in the world all of that, I was like, okay, awesome. And I was really grateful that they showed that.
Yeah.
And kind of to see at the finale too, when they showed what it looked like afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So kudos for finally showing that, because we've been trying to figure out before and after how that works. It was really awesome to see.
Yes, we like that part.
We do. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, my favorite, I say this every time, it's my favorite part is the finale. Because they just come in and look absolutely amazing.
I loved her little black dress, and her little strappy high heels. She looks so good.
Kicking that foot up in the air.
A little toe pop.
Yeah. With the twirl and the toe pop. That's our hashtags for today. Hashtag twirl, hashtag toe pop.
Yes.
I love it.
But she looks so good.
She did.
She was super, super, super tiny. And I love when they do the finale and they put them side by side with their old person and then who they are right now.
Yeah.
And she completely looked different. Completely. And she lost a lot of weight.
She did.
She looked really good.
Yeah. She lost like well over half of herself.
Yeah, 136 pounds total.
Right. She weighs 109 pounds. She started off at 245.
Yeah, you think because, in phase 3, she was at 120 pounds. And so you're thinking when the finale comes, like, oh, how much more can she lose? She's 120 pounds. Like, how much more can she lose? And her final weigh-in, she weighed 109 pounds. I was like, you lost more? 11 more pounds? Awesome. Like, the finale, you have like maybe just a little bit more, but I was like 109. That was a really great finale and ending number, I think, for her.
I wonder how much of that extra weight loss that happens in the phase 4 is attributed to the skin removal too.
That's a good question.
Because that is a lot of skin.
That's true. That's true. Regardless,
she lost it.
Yeah, those pounds count too, okay?
Yes, they do. Everything is down.
Right.
And then, so she's keeping up with her running. She's going to move to Arizona.
I mean, her, Bruce, and Heidi and Chris, all 4 of them in AZ.
That's just too much
Arizona positivity
at one time.
over there. They're going to be changing people's lives.
Yeah. I'm curious, just to get into, of course, our favorites and predictions. What do you think is going to happen with her moving to Arizona?
You know what? She's going to be around Chris, Heidi, and Bruce. We all love Bruce so much.
Bruce. Bam.
So I'm because she's going to be she's already talks about lifestyle and health, So I hope that she continues that career, but maybe with Chris, Heidi, and Bruce.
Yeah.
I would hope to see that and maybe be on the next season with them. Kind of like how Bruce explained that he's doing this whole thing about just trying to influence other people and motivate other people. And I think she would be a great addition.
Absolutely.
Maybe we should give Bruce a call.
Yeah.
Bruce? Have you got Sara on your team yet? I don't know. We should give him a call.
Yeah, no, and I think because she, like you said, she already has that mindset. She's already used to talking about these things. She knows what she should have been doing,
Yeah.
Because she could speak about it. But I think she's going to be even more powerful because now she's actually going to be talking about what she's actually living out in her own life.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. She's going to do amazing, amazing things and definitely influence a lot of people just to keep pushing on no matter who says what, even your family. And I just loved her. She's awesome. Great things for Sara in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, so next week's predictions, we have some double dose.
Yeah.
And somebody's not going to make it.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I thought we were done with Ty. I thought everybody was going to keep going. I thought we were done with quitting with Ty. But so we have an army guy, and that looks intense.
Yes.
And then we just have this girl. I don't really know a lot about her, but Heidi accuses her of cheating her diet. So,
and if there's one person I do not want to mess with, it is Heidi Powell.
Heidi the bulldog. Don't want to do it.
So, okay, predictions. Who do you think who's not gonna make it? Kenny or Krista?
Kenny or Krista. Who's not gonna make it? I don't know. Krista looked like she kind of had an attitude with Heidi. So bad attitudes just don't fit in with lifestyle changes.
It's true.
So I don't know. I'm saying Krista might not make it. What about you?
Okay, I'm gonna go the other end. I'm gonna say Kenny.
Why?
We'll battle it out. I don't know, because I feel like they set it up as if it's gonna be Krista. And something just tells me I gotta be team run the world girls here and say she's gonna stick it out and Kenny's gonna be the one to go.
This will be fun for
I don't know.
next
We'll
week's
see.
episode. Me and Morgan battling it out. Who's it gonna be, Krista or Kenny? Morgan or Jackie?
We will see, and hopefully you will tune in next week. Once again, my name is Morgan Martin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ms_Morgan Martin.
And I'm Jackie Powell. You can find me on Instagram at Jackie_Powell, P-O-W, or Twitter with Jackie with 2 E's _P-O-W.
And of course, you can follow us at Instagram and Twitter at AfterBuzz TV as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Twirl.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.